Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Oafdiscussions. I'm your host, Kid Swift, and with me, as always, is Mr. Brent.
Ooh, yeah.
What's going on, brother? We are back again. Webb is on work duty today, so he could not
Mhm,
make it,
mhm.
and Shayna is still on her sabbatical, saving the childrens.
All the children.
Shayna, we miss you. Hope you come back soon. But yeah, as always, we are back again to discuss some random shit that happened to us during the week and all the fun stuff that we get to deal with and that either pissed us off or made us happy.
hmm
So,
hmm
as we always start off, Brent, how have you been? How was your week?
I just want to say the cream always rises to the top. Cream de la cream.
It's one of my
Where's my?
favorite.
I need.
It's one of my favorite freaking wrestling gifts like ever.
Ooh,
It's so
yeah.
good,
You are
man.
listening to OAF and with the cream of the coffee always rise.
Like that one is one of my favorites, and then the other one with Mean Gene, where he's like, your mustache is crooked, and he was like, your beard's a little off, but I'm not gonna bring that up right now. He like goes off because you know what Mean Gene used to fire right back
If
at him.
somebody can shoot me that message,
So
all right?
good, man.
Somebody in OAF, I mean, somebody in Openton,
Yeah,
shoot me this your favorite Macho Man Randy Savage video, okay?
yeah. I mean,
Put
there's
that in the
plenty.
chat. Put that in the Facebook group at Oafdiscussions slash
Group
Facebook. No, Facebook group slash
Facebook.com/group/open discussion.
thing. I always do it backwards.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Or shoot that on Twitter at OAF Discussions on Twitter.
Yeah. Or you can throw it
Uh,
in the email too. Oafdiscussions at
throw it in the
gmail.com.
email.
The
Bingo.
easy way. But yeah, how you been, brother?
Man, I'm in a good place right now. Like,
That's always good.
I'm trying to think. What do you want to? I could talk about it. So, I am slowly learning about the. No, I am slowly learning the highs and lows of looking for a house. All
Right.
right, becoming
Right.
a first time home buyer,
Right.
and I was like right there. I was like, all right, I'm about to throw a bid on that, and guess what? Somebody already put a bid on that, and I was like, dang.
Right.
It felt like a little kid, like you move your feet, you lose your seat. Like that's what it felt like.
Yeah, exactly. Or
So,
yeah, or you don't, or you're not quick enough on the draw or something like that. Yeah.
mm,
It's like playground rules, but in real life.
right, but in real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, but for real, like everything's good. I'm learning a lot of things, the background stuff.
Very nice.
I was in this week's actually been very interesting. Like I've learned a lot. I've seen some good and some bad
Right.
this week. Um, prayers for the city and all the people out there, trying to make it through their day to day, and all the killings going on, things like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
prayers
Definitely.
go out to all that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Let's keep it positive though.
Yeah, yeah.
What did I do that was shenanigans this week? I don't know. Give me a second. I gotta
No,
think
you're
of
fine.
something.
You're fine.
But
It's no problem at
how
all.
you been? How you been doing, man?
I've been doing good, man. Same old same. Another work week gone. Another busy work week. It was interesting because this week was the week that the Confederate statues came down
I seen that.
in downtown Lexington. And shout out to Russell, aka Real the Poet, good friend of ours, good friend of the show and of me and Webb specifically. We've known him for a while. He does music, did
hmm
music here in Lexington, but he was
hmm
one of the people that spearheaded the Take Back Cheapside movement. That basically was their goal. One of their main goals was to get those statues removed from that place, not completely removed and destroyed or anything like that, but just relocated. Because like a lot of people who understand kind of the symbolism and stuff, and when those statues were put up, they
hmm
felt they needed to be relocated from somewhere not as one central in town, and two not on the grounds where something is
Changes happen.
yeah, where something as significant as literally was a slave trade block
Yeah. Yeah.
back in the day. So they got that done. City finally got approval, and they just kind of made it happen one night. So of course that was like pandemonium because that day was specifically pretty busy as far as like different stories we were working on, and then that happened, so we had to like haul ass downtown
Mm-hmm.
and do that story basically the whole night. So we were down there till about 1 a.m. Because they kind of just started doing it because they didn't want to obviously deal with a bunch of people either freaking out or coming out of the woodwork and stuff and trying to like stop it and everything when they had the go ahead from the attorney general.
Gotcha, yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting. It was a cool moment to see. Of course, there was plenty of people on both sides. There were people that were pissed off. Mainly down there, the large majority of people were in support of the relocation of the statues. But there were people that were driving by, and then some people that were walking by that were against it. They had like a few choice words every once in a while and stuff like that. But I mean, that's to be expected.
That happens.
Yeah,
that happens.
But it was good to see.
It's not the worst they could say.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And it was good to see Russell and his buddy that are.
Shouts out to everybody. Shouts out up there, man. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Because they did a good job, and they really busted their ass, like getting that done and trying to get that passed through Lexington's government and through the mayor and everything, and getting everybody on their side to get that done. So they pulled it off. So it's a good thing. Absolutely.
I'll say it like this. So Lexington, in the words of my boy Tay Rock, enough's enough. That's what they probably said.
Right, yeah.
Enough's enough.
That's what I feel like Mayor Grace should have said. That should have been exactly what Mayor Grace said.
To quote Tay Rock,
yeah.
Gun Bar King, enough's enough. We on some other stuff.
Yeah, right.
We're going to take these statues down.
It was interesting. Now, one of the things, like, of course, like, obviously there was a guy down there, and he wasn't, like, really opposed to the moving the statues in general. He was just kind of, he had more of a point on when the mayor actually announced the removing of the statues. He feels like it could have been done at a different time or something like that, which I can understand that side of the argument. It was interesting to listen to him because he was basically saying, like, he feels he should have either waited or kind of there was obviously a swirling general, I guess you say, unsettling fear in a way on the city when he announced that, because he announced that literally the day after the whole Charlottesville thing happened. So basically what it did was it pretty much for the week after when they first kind of got the ball rolling, as far as like in the public's eye with trying to remove the statues, it was directly after that.
So reactive.
So
very reactive.
Yeah, it was very reactive, absolutely. And it was something
seemed very reactive. My bad.
Right, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a better way to say it. But it was something that immediately turned the eyes of the country, literally the country, onto our city, because we had every national news outlet down here. We had Vice, everybody. Like, I've never seen that many people in a city council meeting. And I mean, we're talking like every national news outlet from NBC to CBS to CNN. Vice was down here. They had a full crew that had like just like flown in from Charlottesville as soon as they saw that it happened, like right after that, because I think a lot of people's anticipation too was that things would either be close to or similar to what happened in Charlottesville, because I think because they thought, based purely on proximity to when this happened, I think they felt that this was going to spark up a similar reaction on both sides here in Lexington. So I think that's why a lot of people, at least in the different news outlets, national and local, really descended on the city, because it was like, oh shit's going to hit the fan. And honestly, as a testament to the city and stuff like that, and the people in charge that kind of are tasked with keeping everybody safe and keeping everything in order, it never did. It never got to the point of boiling over. Like, obviously, like I said, there was vocal opposition, plenty of it, but nobody got to the point of being violent or anything like that, which is good.
Yeah. So I can see that from a strategic standpoint, because that's what it sounds like to me. Not so much pure fear, but more or less just a strategic standpoint.
Absolutely.
And two thoughts came to mind. One, from a strategic standpoint, it was like, do you want to bring like this type of conflict, chaos that could ensue right after the Charlottesville incident, right?
Right.
But the other part of me thinks that's a slippery slope, when you start to play the like, well, we could have picked a better time.
Right.
Are you
Absolutely.
just trying to sweep this under the rug, like run this like under people's noses, like a thief in the night? Like, are you trying to make that type of movement, or like what? Where's your stance?
Right.
Because no matter where you draw the line in the sand,
Mm-hmm.
you got to draw it before the before the tide comes in. Like you got to
Right.
do it or to get washed away.
Right.
So, for me, I think that I wasn't too much like I felt it was like almost perfect timing because you got the message out front, although maybe I doubt it was pre-planned. Like I doubt you could understand that, somebody had a tip like, oh, Charlottesville's about to go down. Let's drop this right after. But I felt like it was a good move, and then it brought a different type of coverage. So it brought one apart fear, but it also brought another one where people like wanted to band together to make sure the same thing didn't repeat itself, right?
Right.
So I felt like there was that first part that was like, okay, we're gonna have like, Klansmen. They're gonna come up to Lex. There's gonna be like the same people out of Charlottesville. They're gonna have a crew come up, this and that. You're gonna have the people from the weeds of Kentucky come up, and they're gonna do something, make their point known, this and that.
Right.
But in reality, like no race war happened.
Mm-hmm.
No craziness ensued that I know of.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of died down. That fear died down as quick as it came up. It was kind of like, okay, so if people come down, there's going to be a situation.
Right.
But what really happened was maybe there was some people to come down, but they didn't make a blip on the thing because the movement was bigger than that little moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and my kind of being on the side of I'm totally okay with when this was announced and when this was initially kind of like spearheaded and put into motion is there, like you said, and like we were saying before with the gentleman that I talked to downtown, where his whole thing was like he didn't like the timing as much. But my thing that I do like about the timing in particular is this was our city being in the middle of one of the most Confederate states, planting a flag of like, we will not tolerate this shit that went down in Charlottesville, and here's what we're going to do in the complete opposition of the negative stuff that went down in Charlottesville. And this was a direct result of that. And I think that's kind of the way I think it should be looked at, as more of a, this bad thing happened, here's where we stand clearly, and this is the way we want things going forward.
Yes. And to anybody that doesn't get that analogy or to get that thought, simply put, this was the Gandalf the Grey moment. None shall pass. I'm actually proud of Lexington for like a lot of the culture that's being changed.
Oh man,
like
the
like
art and stuff seen down here and all that kind of like that different.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Also the
and cultural stuff, like you said.
Just like oh shoot, I can't do the acronym.
LGBTQ.
Thank you, LG. I'm failing right now.
I stumble over it sometimes too. Yeah, I understand.
Like, is the mayor like the first, like one of the few like openly?
He is the first openly gay mayor of
right. So
the city.
like the culture's been changing where like things are becoming more accepting. Things are people are now having those tough conversations, but not only just having this tough conversation, now working through those tough conversations. Because I think, and you may agree or disagree. I think you probably agree with this, but or even the listeners, that a lot of times we approach change as one steps. Like, let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's that's the biggest thing in the room. Let's talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But then after the talk, we could talk till we're blue in the face. Sometimes we change things, sometimes we don't.
Right.
But if we just walk away from just talking, no further action was done.
Right.
So a lot of times we forget the second part that is pretty much the follow through, that we have to work through it as well.
Right.
So it's not one conversation, but a conversation plus an action. Maybe if you want to stop people from hating a person, you go, let's talk about the myths about what you find that you hate or dislike about a person, or why something bothers you, things like that, or why you feel like something is unacceptable
Mm-hmm.
for you
Yeah.
or in general. And then maybe the challenge is meet a person on the other side of that track,
Yeah.
right? Meet them, you know, and have a limited interaction, or go through their world for a day. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
stuff like that. So I feel like Lexington has definitely been, I tip my hat off for the progress that's been made. Just
Right.
following through those tough conversations, those things, and actually working towards making a difference. Because I feel like that's dropped a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
in society, and in, like, we can say even in the Black community or the church
Mm-hmm.
or whatever religion or organization that you subscribe to or even don't subscribe to.
Yeah. Right.
I feel like that's just kind of a human nature thing that we sometimes fail at,
Yeah.
that we could honestly do better at.
And
And
that's
that could be just for your relationships too.
And that's one of the biggest things that's been a frustration as far as like just in general with the kind of divided climate that we're kind of in now in this country, whether it's racially or from just basically like viewpoints, etc. Is that a lot of times when I see something that somebody else believes, whether it's in opposition to me or if it's an extreme version of maybe a little bit farther pushed on than something that I believe, it's one of those situations where a lot of times now, and it's one of the things of social media that's great, but then it's also one of the things that, at least in my case, gives me a lot of frustration because I'll see something, a news story or something from some, whatever, let's see, right-wing politician or any politician that says something that seems very kind of like, I would say closed-minded in a way, or very, very tunnel vision esque. And I just get this frustration because I want to, like exactly what you said, just ask them and get to the bottom of why do you feel this way? Because I don't understand why you feel this way. So I would like to understand why you feel this way, because in some ways, one, we may not agree in the end, but at least we could understand where you're coming from both sides. That way, at least everybody involved has a better understanding of what's going on. There was a really good story that came out this week. I forgot who did the story, the whole little story on it, but there was a black reporter. She's on national news. I forgot exactly what outlet, but she was getting calls whenever she was on from this white gentleman who basically was like getting irate and like screaming all kind of like racial slurs and stuff anytime she had like a topic bringing up whatever. And basically she just kind of like reached out to him and simply just kind of said to him on the air, and I think she might have sent him an email after she got a hold of his like contact information, and just told him basically exactly what we've been saying. If you can, take the time to, one, either try to befriend or have a conversation with somebody of a different race. Particularly in this case, it was mainly African American because that seemed to be his main race that he had an issue with. Get to know a black family was her other point, and then kind of get involved or kind of get an inside look into the black community in his local town. And he kind of had a moment of, after doing this, because her whole thing was, she was like, I said this and there was no thought in my mind that he would actually do it. I just was saying it to not come across as arguing with him. I just wanted to like put this out there as this is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
She never thought it would actually do anything, but he actually was like, fuck it, and did it. And after doing it, now he has a completely changed understanding and different perspective. And now they are friends. They visit each other. They hold conversations regularly. Like, she brings him gifts of like different like books from different like cultured authors and stuff like that, and he loves it. And he kind of like had this eye-opening moment of like, oh shit, like, all right, maybe I'm not looking at this right. Maybe I'm kind of just looking at this from one side. And he realized how wrong it was, what he was doing. And I just thought that was interesting because it's like her whole point at the end, and kind of like what she ended off saying was, if this unlikely friendship between me and him can come to be just based off simply a suggestion of words and suggested actions on his part, imagine what would happen if people on a much broader scale would be able to sit down and have conversations and do the same thing. And I just thought that was a really good story and a really interesting approach to it, and the fact that, one, it worked. Now, there obviously are going to be a lot of instances where it wouldn't work, but still.
Yeah, but if you find that article, would you mind shooting that to me?
Absolutely.
I would like to I'd like to read up on that for real.
And we'll post it in the
in chat,
in the OAF group.
Okay, cool.
That way everybody can see it. It's a little short video kind of thing.
Oh, that's even better. Like, hey, I ain't got to read. I can just watch the video.
I know, right?
So, all right. So, another thing that's been going on in my world, and I think this is you actually jogged something in my memory.
Cool.
Just like going that extra step and trying somebody's suggestion. So, I've had the opportunity to relive an actual book and author that I love through basically someone else's eyes.
Okay.
I suggested a book, not thinking of it, things like that. I really wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm just passionate about the book. The book is In the Name of the Wind by Patrick Rutherford. Ruffus. Yeah.
Ruffus? Okay.
I'll put it in the chat. Don't worry about that.
Okay. All right.
And it's called In the Name of the Wind. It's part of the King Killer Chronicles. I've tried to shoot y'all some links before.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's one of my favorite books. Somebody suggested it to me, and it was like out of my normal element of books. Like, I'm typically like a suspense, thriller, crime, more of like, the crime stories, nonfiction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or, fiction too. But definitely like your space, like Ender's Game, stuff like that, like real sci-fi.
Yeah.
This was high fantasy. Yeah, I can watch high fantasy from like movie standpoint.
Right.
I understand it there, but it doesn't always catch my eye, like super high fantasy, because
in reading.
Yeah, it's just like
it's a different thing to tackle.
It's too far fetched for me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You have to with something like that, with high fantasy, because it is something very non-grounded.
Yeah, so Harry Potter would be high fantasy, right?
It has to be described very intently in order to get the point across.
So this author, actually, I gravitate to their writing style, the way they explain things. To me, they explain this book through the lens of a musician. Like, how a musician sees or hears music is how they describe their world, basically. Like, those finite details that no one ever picks up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that only a musician or a person who's like has the ear for that, or for music, or for that art, can keenly pick out that subtleness that makes the thing whole. So they've been reading this book. So I was like, hey, if I most times if I give you anything that I'm like, hey, if it's a series, I'd be like, try a couple shows, like try 3 shows, because that's my standard. I try 3 shows, 3 episodes.
Absolutely.
In a book, this was an audio book. I was like, give it 30 minutes, give it a few chapters, right?
Right.
And I played the chapter. I played like the intro. They were hooked. They started reading it. So I've gotten to see their thoughts, predictions, what they liked, what they didn't like, some comparisons that they've made with stories I shared, stuff like that. And it's been like one of the most awesome times for me, because I've went back and read a couple chapters, but I'm literally like rejogging my memory of this book that I haven't read in like 4 years, that I still consider probably one of my favorite all-time books of all time, right?
Right, absolutely.
So have you had that experience where you've just like got to relive something? Maybe it's just music. Maybe it's something simple like passing on. I got an example that could work while you're thinking. Maybe it's like passing on music. Maybe like you're introducing your daughter.
Yeah.
Little annihilator to a certain music that she hasn't heard ever in her life before. But it's like one of those classics that you hold dear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And you get to see that like moment of building like gravitation, stuff like that. Or this could be to anybody, you know. Do you ever have those moments, or have you gotten to recently experience that moment?
Yeah, I'd say it's something that definitely happens a lot with one, because I do have Anaya, because I do have a child. It happens a lot with that, especially now, and with like, and it happens, I would say, in two subjects mostly with me, and that's probably music and video games.
Okay, okay.
Video games has been nice because it's a lot with Anaya now, because having something like the Nintendo Switch and stuff like that, where we're playing like Mario games, or we're playing Mario Kart and stuff like that, that she's having the same like excitement and reactions when we played like Super Mario 64, or when we played Mario Kart 64, when we even playing like Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo and the NES and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of where I see it a lot, is with that. Then with music, because anytime I have a chance to suggest music, and being in situations, one with you guys, and then with people that I work with that have similar taste in music, or have different taste in music, where I've suggested a band, or I've been suggested a band, and then have that moment where I first get to listen to them, or play something for someone else and have them listen to them, and them have those excited kind of very, I guess you could say, just excited reactions.
Like organic.
Yeah,
like
organic.
Moments.
Exactly. Organic.
You
moments.
definitely get an organic moment out of me.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I may be like one of the toughest people to send something to.
Yeah.
You never know how I'm gonna respond to it.
Absolutely.
When I rock with something,
yeah,
like I'm in it fully. Like,
yeah.
But when I don't rock with something, I'll tell you, like, I'm not feeling
right.
that.
Yeah,
and this is why, like,
exactly.
But I'll be honest, and I hope I never, like, you know, like, just go around shitting on anybody's like thing, like, oh man, I love this so much, and then I never want to take the wins out of somebody's sale, right?
Right, absolutely.
So if I'm like,
but you don't
I'm not feeling that.
But you don't want to fake like it.
No, I don't.
As well.
Fake.
Right,
I don't fake with anybody. Just like who said it? One of our friends. They were like, I like they mentioned something like letting me listen to their music or listen to like them, because they was like, he will give you a straight up take of how he feels, not because you're his boy, but because he's listening to it and he's judging it on like a real art level. Like, for me, if you give me anything, I'm gonna judge it.
Party.
Yeah, I'm gonna judge it as if you're like the standard is you want to be a pro, you want to be, you know, a pro, you want to be like a vet, you want to be like the man, whatever, or the woman. Right. I'm gonna judge you on that same level. Like, would I pick this up? Right. Like, do I see this? Like, would I ride around this in my car? Or if you're, you know, artwork, would I hang this up? Or would I buy this for somebody to hang up?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I still judge people on that level, but I mean, in a respectful way. Like, if I give you criticism, at least I'll tell you why. Like, for me, I thought, you know, your flow switched up. You need something else in the background. That beat's nice, but it ain't hitting for me. Or I think you did some stuff last year that, you know, your raps was a whole lot better. Your pen was better. Like, this don't sound good to me. Like, or this was amazing. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I let somebody listen to our Shake Nation.
Yeah.
I let somebody listen to that Friday. Yeah. Lines in the Dark.
Yeah.
BIA, EDM.
Yeah.
Brothers in Arms.
Yeah.
Me and Gary's collaboration. I let somebody listen to that Friday, right? I didn't tell them. They basically saw you, because I took them to the Reverb Nation.
Okay.
They saw you, and they were like, oh, who is this? And I was like, just listen. You know, some music. Because I never want to tell somebody, like, A, I helped, or I, you know, was part of this, and B, I don't want to tell you, like, this is my best buddy.
Right. Or here's the other thing that I think people, and this is my biggest thing that I have to try to avoid, and is I think a lot of artists or people who create anything do, is you feel like you have to brief somebody when you're about to show them something you've created. Be like, yeah, like, here's my new whatever. Like, here's my new song. When I made it, I was kind of tired. So just so you know, it was windy outside. Like, you always give all this bullshit like preface to try to like cushion it so like when they do give you an opinion on it, it doesn't feel. Okay. You're trying to protect your own feelings. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, I've seen multiple. Exactly.
I do that with the pod. That is honestly, I don't do that with music. Right. Or I could draw something and then I wouldn't say, like, I'll be like, here you go, look at it. And then you'd be like, good or bad. And I'd be like, but it's me. Podcast is the only thing. Because this is like part of like that baby of mine that I'm like,
right.
I want to protect.
But I think a lot of that has to do with also is the medium is very subject driven. So a lot of people are like, I have my favorite comedy podcast. I have my favorite drama podcast. I have my favorite story podcast. I have this podcast from this person because I really like them. Like, so every time you tell somebody, yes, I do this, they're like, oh, what kind is it?
What's your niche?
Exactly.
And I tell people, like, so the hardest thing for me is when I go into another podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, explain your podcast. Now
you're just like,
I could sit here.
This is like that. Here. It's that gif of John Wall when he's laid out on the bench, like on the chair, like, oh no, like, oh no.
And it's not because I don't know the podcast. Like, I'm not here on, like, 90% of the shows. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here in the background, doing the work, helping this and that.
Right.
It's like, one, I understand that when people ask that, a lot of times, to the listener, they're like, what's the niche? What makes you different than everything else, right? That's like going into a job, like an interview. That's what it feels like. It's like going into an interview and being like, what makes you good? Like, why should you work here? Yeah. Well, I come in every day. I'm always on time. We put out these episodes, every week. Mm-hmm. We're dedication. It shows I'm fiery up. I never take a day off. Like,
exactly.
And I don't even go. I've tried that. I tried to go that route once, right?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel for me. It doesn't feel natural for me. I wouldn't listen to the podcast based off the way I explained it probably the first time that I tried to explain it, right?
Yeah.
So now I'll tell you straight up, our niche, what makes us different. If you listen, it's like listening to 4 old friends or 4 people who remind you of somebody that you know.
Yeah.
And being in the inside joke every time. Like, you're a part of the inside joke week in and week out.
That's a really good way to put it.
Right?
Because I was just going to say it as vaguely as it is an audio. Like, if they know you as a person, I think you could get away with saying it is an audio representation of myself, of Brent Little. Like, this is everything. You see what I'm saying, though? Like, and I could say that for me too.
You did it again, sir.
What?
We'll
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm Brent. Mr. Brent.
Quitting the podcast. You said podcast today. I'm retiring. I'm coming back as a new man. Reincarnating myself. All right.
You see what I mean, though, right?
A lion.
Right. Yeah. You see what I mean, though? It's like that. This is everything. Like. Because it covers so much.
But the thing is...
That's the kind of weird part about it.
I could say yes to that. But the thing is...
But I like yours better. Let's just say that right now. I like yours way better.
The way you say that is different because if you met me anytime outside of this, like you listening to me, you're probably not going to get that take of me the moment you see me. Because if you just walked up to me and was like, hey, I listened to the show, you're not about to get Brent swirling his glass, like, you know what I'm saying, like off the cuff.
It's gonna be different.
Talking trash. Like, you're gonna get a person that's like a lot more quiet, a lot more just listening in the group. Like, you're not gonna get. I'm pretty sure people on the podcast think I'm like the party animal, or I'm like the person that's like, I gotta be part of the attention, right? And that's not really the way I operate. Like,
not at all.
That's not how I operate. I'm a person who's like in the group or in the circle. I smile and laugh.
Right.
But I'm not the one dancing, cracking jokes. Like, don't get me wrong. I will roast you in my own type of way.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm more sarcastic. Like, I'm more sarcastic, and I have these one-off or little witty moments that that I'll banter back and forth like that.
Right.
But so with that, I'm like, it's authentic me. But you wouldn't get this out of me because I'm comfortable with you all on the podcast, right?
Right.
It's like somebody having their like safe space. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're more you when you're around those you trust and care, right?
Right.
Who know, you know what I'm saying? Like you can be you.
Right.
And that's how it is. Plus I can't fake it with you all. Like you all know me
Right.
in the
Absolutely.
real world, good and bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't fake it and be like,
And I think
oh well today.
that's a good thing about us being, like you said, the knowing each other across the board, is because we have that checks and balances of we have to be authentic because we know each other from a for a while. So we understand
even,
that.
And even the guests, like I choose, you know what I'm saying, when we're picking guests or I'm picking guests, stuff like that, I'm choosing people who I'm like, yo, I want to work with them. I want to talk to them.
Right.
I know they'll fall, you know what I'm saying, they'll feel like a friend upon the first meeting because, I mean, any of the guests, you all ring out in the chats or whatever, when you come on, does it feel like, hey, we want to pull up a drink? What you want to do? You want anything? We talk beforehand, like I'm a genuine person.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you're gonna get from me every episode. Like you gonna just get something off the muzzle.
Right.
This ain't even on the script right now.
Yeah, right, absolutely. Yeah.
This ain't even part of the script right now. So
now moving back kind of to
yeah. My bad.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, moving back to kind of what you were saying, as far as introducing something to somebody and then getting to see their reaction. I really enjoyed with video games, especially with you guys, when I like with you and Jake. Especially if I find something that's kind of weird, shout out Jedi, or something that's like co-op that I think we'll all like, and then we end up liking it. That's always fun. That's kind of what happened with like PUBG, with a bunch of our friends. Like that's happened with that.
So you all made me want to play PUBG more than anything,
yeah.
Because just seeing the chat of everybody like, oh man, we were so close. We got, number 2, number 6.
Yeah.
Winner, chicken dinners. Like everybody like forming up to play. Like that made me want to play because each time you all kept making these like little memories that aren't for everybody else. Like it's like this is that untold history. Shout out to Jedi for college life. This is that moment in history untold.
Yeah.
Like that you all share now. And I'm out of it. Like I see like the end notes of it, but I'm not a part of it. So it makes me like, I want to do that. Now, when you brought up video games, so a lot of people that I run into still have negative feelings towards like gamers or video games, right?
Right. Gotcha.
And I could probably break down 5 different, 5 different ways. Like a person who's a gamer in your life is a positive. You know what I'm saying? Like I can make it a positive. I can run it if you was like, you dating a gamer could be really healthy to your relationship in some ways. You know what I'm saying? Like I could break down that way. And it's weird that like when people go, when I talk to somebody and they're like, they got this negative thought towards gamers or games, I'd be like, okay, so tell me why do you dislike games?
Right.
Like what gives you that negative feeling? Oh, and most of the time it's people like, oh, if I'm talking to the opposite sex, no, same sex too. Like, it doesn't matter. Like some people will be like, it's time consuming. Like they don't feel like people pay attention. People don't want to do anything.
Right.
This and that. And I'm like, okay, so are you worried about, are you feeling that you're being ignored or excluded?
Yeah. Right.
I was like, well, that's a conversation you need to have with somebody, right?
Oh yeah.
If you're talking about this is their escapism and they're going too far in it, I'm like, well, all escapisms have levels. So if you go to the movies after you feel bad, or if you go pick up ice cream, or if you go work out in the gym for the 4th time in the day because, you know what I'm saying, you've had a frustrating day. I mean, those are escapisms, but you can do them too much and it becomes a bad thing.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like
anything. Yeah, anything. Like you said, you eat too many ice cream cones today, you're going to still feel sick.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you might
I don't eat licorice sticks no more because I ate too many licorice when I was a kid, and I've never ever wanted to eat another licorice in my life.
You're like, no, I'm good. I'm sick. But
ever, I was so sick.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But that's here nor there.
Yeah,
that's here nor there.
Absolutely.
But so then typically I ask that, and then when I say it that way, they're like, oh, okay. But then I'm like, do you like music?
Right.
They're like, yeah. Oh, do you like movies? I'm like, yeah. Well, what kind of movies you like? Do you like Indiana Jones? Do you like Tomb Raider? Do you like Italian Job?
Right.
Um,
Thrillers? Do you like
Thrillers?
horror movies? Whatever.
But then I was like, do you like Will Smith, where he had the kid and he was like homeless?
Oh, oh my God, what is that movie called?
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of
You
Happiness.
like
Yep.
Pursuit
Right.
of Happiness? Do you like, stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And most people, you pick enough genres, they're gonna be like, yeah, I like such and such.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a game like that, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's
That's
a
right.
game
Yeah. Yeah. There's something that will
gives
match
you
up to that.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? Like if you're a story person, there's a game that's just for story. If you're an action-packed person, play Uncharted, Tomb Raider, stuff like that. Because Uncharted is literally Indiana Jones, but 21st. You know what I'm saying? Like the 2000s version of Indiana Jones made cooler again.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? No Nazis, like just made cool. Well, I guess there was Nazis in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, that's true.
so I talk about that, and when I break down that, hey, if you take all these arts and all these cultures and put them in one place, you either get a video or a video game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can say a book too. You can say a book. There's artwork, stuff like that. But I was like, one of the best storytellers is both visual, it's interactive, and you have people
you
who
have
are
agency
truly,
over it.
Yeah.
In some story, not every game, but in most very story driven games, like sometimes you'll have choice. Like let's say a Telltale style game or something like that.
Or BioWare, where they had Mass Effect. Like
Yeah.
you actually get the pick choice. So now you have your books that used to be the where you could go around and
like
pick like
choose your own adventure, like skip the
choose your
page,
own
skip to this
adventure.
chapter. Yeah.
You got that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, there's people who are really creating the desert, like sand by sand.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is art. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're creating Inca temples, like history. I was like, that's art. The sky, this and that. I was like, water. Like,
now this kind of plays into a very interesting thing, and then after this we can shift on to a perfect topic that also plays off of something that you said about movies. But as far as video games being artistic or being something that people can take in, not just from the aspect of, oh, I'm just going to slash kill whatever, or blow stuff up or play sports or whatever, is with the new Assassin's Creed game, there's actually a mode in there where you can completely, it's called tourism mode. And pretty much they're confident to the point with the game world that they've built where there's no combat or anything, but you can walk around the game world and visit all those, because it's set in Egypt, and you can visit all those different, like the temples,
shops,
the like the marketplaces, of course the pyramids, the different monuments and stuff like that. And they have like a tour guide at these different places that literally when you go to the places, it'll break down, give you the history, how the things were built and everything like that in a virtual setting.
Think about it. You take that one step further. You do VR machines, right? VR headsets, VR, you got your virtual reality, right?
Yeah.
And let's say we wanted to go to the the African American Museum?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
they do it VR style. Like let's say you pay like $5, right?
Yeah.
You can get in and it takes you on a tour of the museum. You don't have to travel all the way to the museum itself. Now, that might mean, well, you can't touch stuff in the museum anyway. So you're okay there. Like,
but you'll still have a more personal experience.
Yeah,
it still
but
won't take
it's
away
like,
from,
boom, you're up close. Like maybe you're like through the eyes of the tour guide. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And they're like up close and personal. You can't smell it, but you can see everything. You can hear everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and there's a lot of schools that are implementing this kind of learning thing because, I mean, obviously you can't, you can't afford to obviously pick up a full class or hundreds of students from across the country and fly them to Washington, but using something like, or fly them across the world. But you can use stuff like virtual reality, like this world building technology and artistic design and history, and really show off what this technology can do and what it can mean for education and driving that forward. But yeah, absolutely. Now pushing forward. So I'd say we'll probably end on this, but this is a good topic to end on because we like to always end in a fun, kind of goofy space with a rhetorical kind of question, hypothetical. But before we started recording today, Brent had came across a question about some of our favorite actors
Mm.
And it was a question of one of those
Helton.
classic elimination type questions where it's like choose one between these four actors and all their work will be scrubbed from existence. Now, originally we had the debate in the chat of did this mean just their movies would be scrubbed from existence? And then Webb made the suggestion, that even if it wasn't, let's raise the stakes and make it, we have to choose between these four actors, and whichever one we choose will be completely, all movies, TV shows, appearances, everything will be completely
even
gone.
being a writer, producer, background stuff,
everything. So basically scrubbed from existence. Now, the choices were Will Smith,
Bing.
Denzel Washington.
Oh,
Who was the last two, Alfred?
Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson.
And then you had Idris Elba.
Yeah, and Idris Elba. Now, there immediately, my first thought was, let's save Denzel. Let's move him to the side. Don't nobody touch Denzel.
Okay.
We got 3 options left.
Okay.
That was my first thought. Just that was personal. Now, I don't know if you feel the same way, but that was just me personally. I feel like Denzel's. I mean, I feel like we need Denzel.
We need Denzel.
Like he's done so much, so much good stuff.
My first person was
to save. That was to save. Was Sam Jackson?
Was Sam Jackson?
Okay, that's interesting because I was having a mental kind of like back and forth with how am I how to kind of like eliminate these, and then what am I basing this on? Is this based purely upon like veteran actor kind of like that meaning, because that's part of Denzel's, but then also Denzel's quality of work is another part of it, obviously too.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
So let's run from your idea. Let's run through your idea, because I'm gonna throw in my stuff too as well. So you're saving Denzel first.
Yeah, I'm saving Denzel first.
All right.
Now here's the problem. You kind of have to take it into experience, because take it into like personal experience with these actors, with their movies, how those movies weigh into it, how those TV or events, and also I'm thinking about importance of them to the culture, because we always go back to a culture standpoint too. Because I think that just is something that you need to take into consideration. I don't just mean African American culture. I mean culture as far as like acting, movies, film, across the board. Yeah. Period. So that's where it got difficult, because my first thought was, like I said, remove Denzel from the options because I feel like he needs to be saved.
All right.
But
Denzel
then, But then I was trying to think between, because I between Smith, Idris and Sam
Jackson.
Because I feel like Will is almost so important too, with the amount of movies that were so
Mr. 4th of July
important to my like.
Are we talking about Mr. 4th of July?
Well, I mean, just in general.
Are we talking about?
I mean, yeah, we're talking
summertime.
I mean, yeah, exactly. We're talking about like the first. Like, he literally is involved in the first hip-hop song I remember as a child, because that came out when I was 3 years old in 1991, when I was on the way to Disney World for the first time. We were driving through Florida, and that's when that song premiered on the radio.
So that's a weird thing. The only thing I remember going to Disney World when I was a kid or whatever was I stroke it to the least, and I stroke it to the west.
That's funny.
I stroke it to the woman that I love the best.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
I like that. I like that.
My bad.
Now, with that in there too, now, I think.
So, are you saving Will, or are you still debating?
I feel like I'm saving Will. I feel like I gotta save Will.
There.
I feel like I've got to save Will, because it's not, his hands are not only from a producer, actor, and musician side important to all those different aspects. Because you got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
You got Independence Day.
You have Independence Day.
You've got I would even throw I Am Legend. I like that movie a lot.
You got him having to kill his dog.
Right. You've got Pursuit of Happiness, so he can pull off stuff like that.
He was crying all over the place.
You've got Men in Black.
Wow. Jay.
Yeah,
Don't forget about the neuralizer,
yeah.
the cricket, got the cricket gun.
You've got DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Like you've got those albums.
We're going back to we're going back to the albums now.
I mean,
Not even
yeah,
just
yeah. Not even just the movies. You've got the countless amount of stuff that he's executive produced. Most of the stuff that he starred in as well. That he has, but you've got that, and he is
you
an
also have
excellent
7
actor. Yeah,
You have
I feel like
Wild Wild West.
Now, with that said,
You have all those songs that we don't hear on the radio that weren't good.
right now, with that said, I feel like
You have his kids now too.
you got Getting Jiggy with it.
Nah, 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 nah.
Now, with that being said, I think the easiest one to eliminate, and it's hard because he's one of my favorite actors, is Idris. Because, and a lot of that ease is due to the fact that I've got experience. Like, I feel like his biggest flag in the ground that a lot of people would fight for is something that I have no experience in, and that is The Wire. And I think that would be the biggest thing that I can think of. Now, as far as like everything that whenever he's in a film, like he can act his ass off. He's an amazing actor across the board, whether you're talking about Luther or whether you're talking about fucking Pacific Rim. like he's got a wide range.
He's Finding Dory.
Yeah.
He was in Star Trek. He was in 100 Streets.
Yeah.
He was in The Take, The Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Zootopia. He was the team leader in Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
Siege. He was Beast of No Nation.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like that one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Now that's where I would have to fight.
Avengers. He was.
Yeah.
But see, No Good Deeds, The Second Coming. He was Thor. He was Pacific Rim. Prometheus. Ghost Rider. He was in Call of Duty. He does video game work.
Yeah,
he was in Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yep.
The Big C. You have The Losers.
Yep.
Unborn.
Yep.
Prom Night. American Gangster. 28 Weeks Later.
Yep.
The Reaping. Daddy's Little Girl. Like, come on, Daddy's Little Girl.
That was a good movie.
Like, he was on Girlfriends. The Wire.
Yep.
He was definitely on The Wire.
I feel like that's
Soul
the
Food.
one. I feel like The Wire is the one that most people would champion for Idris Elba.
The Inspectors. He was Law and Order. Like, the dude's got a catalog.
Right, because think about it like this. The Wire's constantly in an argument as, is it the best or one of the best TV shows ever made? So how do you remove one of the main actors?
But he's... Hold on.
You
he's also been a producer. Like, he's also a producer, too.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
absolutely.
Luther.
Yeah, I know. Luther's fucking great. It's
You know
basically Black Batman. It's basically Black Batman.
Like,
100%. So what do you think? Because that's what it personally, I feel like he's the easiest to eliminate because I feel like most of my mental thought process on Samuel is out of a lot of respect. Because he's Samuel Jackson.
That's true.
You got Pulp Fiction in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, so what do you think? Because you immediately saved Samuel, which I think is interesting, and we kind of agreed on Denzel, which I like.
Yeah, we agree on Denzel. Denzel gets to stay.
So what are we thinking?
So Samuel,
because I feel like this is between Samuel Jackson and Idris Elba. We got to make a decision. But what do you think, sir?
Okay, so for me, I saved Samuel, right?
Okay.
And I saved him because Samuel L. Jackson is one of the few characters, or few people, not characters, few people who does their job so good that you remember him from every role, right? Yeah. As an actor.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson was the keyboard player in Kill Bill. He was in the dude just takes movies, right? He's the highest paid, you know what I'm saying? I think he's still the highest grossing.
He's one of Tarantino's go-to.
But no, just actors. In general in film, like I think he's made the most money.
He's done, yeah. He's not.
Yeah,
I can't remember the
I think he
exact
still
numbers.
has I think he has the record for like the most money. But so you have his early stuff where he
Right.
was the high school principal.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have the stuff where he was I'm trying to pull up the catalog, but you have him as like Django.
Yeah.
He was I can't even think of his name. Who's
The-
that there on that now?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's probably one of the most iconic villains.
Yeah. Is your phone going off?
You know? Yeah, that's my phone.
Okay.
My bad.
I was about to,
My bad.
I was like, I can't hear it. I was like,
Sam heard me talking about him. He was like, "Hey, B, let me holler at you."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Talk that. But
Right.
he's also commercials.
Yeah.
He's
absolutely.
transcends the commercials.
Yeah. He's big
Like
time in
he
commercials.
transcends movies. He's commercials. He was the purple wielding Jedi Mace Windu
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's the most powerful dude in Star Wars.
He's the first black Jedi we ever saw.
Bing. And the most powerful. And he got a purple light. You know what I'm saying? He got that royal saber.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People didn't catch that, but I was watching.
Right.
Like you said, Pulp Fiction. Like he has so many iconic work, but he's also a person who like a philanthropist. Can't do it.
Philanthropist.
Yep, you got it. Can't do it today. Can't do it. Haven't drank enough.
Right. Right.
He has the commercials
Right.
where he's like with Barkley and Spike Lee when they're doing like the NBA and March Madness. He has the Capital One. He has like everything he does, you get a tagline or a phrase, right? He made bad motherfucker cool.
Yeah.
He's the only person that you can get away with. They make memes of Samuel L. Jackson, and you love them more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's also the person that could go on a Jimmy Fallon show or a beef battle, like one of those little shows, those night shows, and then have a freestyle battle with somebody.
Yeah.
And you'd be
he's
like, oh my God, just Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know anything of his music side, if he ever did anything with music.
I don't think so.
But like he's that iconic. Like I would choose him over Morgan Freeman every day of the week.
Okay.
So I had to save Sam because he's like one of the biggest people in that list. He's the biggest person in that list, I would say.
Yeah.
Star power, I would say he's the biggest person in that list.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
global.
Yeah.
Globally.
Yeah. Globally. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Definitely.
I'll take that
I'll give
fight.
you that. No.
If you want to say he's the biggest in the black community, I'd be like, is he?
No, I would give you that definitely in that list because of the, I mean, just off of one Tarantino movies, how far-reaching they are, and then also the Avengers. I mean, that's the one that fucking like puts the nail in the coffin, like big time.
Yeah. So you have those and all the other movies, but he also has some crummy movies too.
Yeah,
like Black Snake Moan. Yeah, you got to just
they
make it.
Gave
through.
us one of our greatest pictures ever of him with that crazy face standing up in the house.
Oh, that was hilarious. Him
so
carrying a white
funny,
chick
man.
on a chain.
It's so funny.
Oh my goodness,
that
I was
movie's
like,
so
reverse slavery?
problematic. That movie's so
Reverse slavery?
problematic, man.
Yo,
It's so hilarious, dude.
Sam about to get some people
Oh,
hemmed
my
up,
God.
man. Sam ain't joking. So I had to save Sam.
Snakes
so
on a
for me,
plane, hilarious.
Now the debate is
I mean, I think
Idris, Will Smith, or
Okay.
Denzel.
No, we can't do Denzel. Denzel's off the list.
Denzel made it because he did John Q. All right.
Not even that. I mean, shit.
No,
he's done,
actually, he made it because he did.
he made fucking. I mean, you got Man on Fire. Like,
Yeah, I was
like,
about to say
come on,
Man
man.
on Fire.
You got
American
Amistad.
Gangster.
Like, come on,
Ooh,
man.
I forget about
Come
and
on,
Glory.
man. Yeah, exactly.
Glory?
Like, come on, man.
Wait, was Sam Jackson in Glory too?
Oh shit, were they both in Glory?
I can't remember.
Oh fuck, that's going.
I could Google that.
Well, we saved those two. We saved those
Okay.
two. That's
All
fine.
right, so
I feel like it's still.
but you didn't save
easier.
Sam. You didn't save Sam.
No, I saved
So,
Denzel. That's what I'm saying. We each had a save.
So Denzel's done.
We each
Denzel,
had a,
he's good.
We each had a
Say
save
he's on the
place,
island.
and I
You
think
know what I'm saying?
Samuel's is good too.
All
We
right,
each had a
so
save
now,
place.
For me, that leaves Will Smith or
And
Idris.
I still feel like Idris is easier, and maybe that's lazy, but I feel like he's less controversial.
I'll argue.
Will's so important to.
Is he?
Yeah, I feel like he is.
Is he?
I feel like he is. Like, here's the thing. I feel like Idris is very important because he's an amazing actor, and I fucking love his movies. Now,
Idris was off the island before I even started the show.
Right, yeah.
Idris was done. He was gone in my book. So I was like
Like
what do I
now.
need from Idris?
Like now.
I have new people I can replace Idris with.
Right, exactly. So I'm like
Yeah.
now. Now
For
my
women,
whole thing with Will
might be eye
is
candy.
Will is now. See, that's where we're gonna get this flack from. Is from anybody. Who
So
likes
I'll
Will.
argue Will Smith needs to stay on. No, I'll argue Idris needs to stay on the island for all the women listeners. Right.
Okay.
I seen a poll. They was all about like Sam got to go. All of them got to go. But so
See, I knew it was gonna happen.
So Idris
Goddamn.
has the women in his pocket.
Oh my god. See, he's an important. Here's my biggest
And he's
distinction.
the only like what great British person that's like.
Yeah. Well, no, you got John Boyega. You got John Boyega now.
He's still coming up.
Yeah.
He's still earning his name.
And see, that's my thing too.
He's not that high yet.
Idris is big, even though he's been around for a very long time now at this point, especially if you count like his older stuff, The Wire,
and he's a model.
Before, yeah. And that's the other interesting thing about this list is everybody has their tendrils in other stuff. Samuel has commercials along with acting. Will has music along with acting. Idris has modeling along with acting.
Hold on. What is Will putting out as music wise?
Well, he did, though. And when he did, he has one of the most important, well-known hip-hop songs of all time. That's what I'm saying.
I will give you Summertime.
Exactly.
The intro to Fresh Prince.
Parents Just Don't Understand.
And, Parents Just Don't Understand. Yeah. And I'll give you Freddy Krueger, the night. What is it?
Is it the Halloween song?
Yeah, the Halloween song. I'll give you those 4 songs.
That's fine.
All I give.
I would have been fine with just the 3.
But I will knock you back for Getting Jiggy with It.
No.
Wild Wild West.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Those two, take 2 of those out.
Absolutely.
Like, boom, clear that slate.
So messed up.
He's got 2 songs.
Here's my thing with Will.
One's an intro.
Here's my thing with Idris and Will. Idris is very important. He has been around for a while, but
he's Black James Bond.
But yeah, he's
and
very,
Batman.
But he's very important now. I feel like Will has been such a part of our lives, history-wise.
Will, they ain't never come to my birthday party.
Shut up. You know what I mean.
They ain't came to my birthday party.
You know what I mean.
You went out here kissing babies and stuff. Tiger Woods was in the hood. Where Will Smith was.
We've been listening to Will Smith. We've been watching Will Smith our entire lives.
He's not better than the Martin Show.
I'm not making that argument.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not doing that.
What has he done? He's not even the best at his shows.
I mean, he's good.
I could argue Family Matters was better.
Well, it was. I mean, that's hard. That's like comparing apples to oranges to bananas. It's unnecessary. They're all fruits. They're all fruits.
All right.
But so again, like I said, I feel like it's easier to eliminate Idris. Do you agree? We might as well go ahead and do it and just catch the fucking hell we're gonna catch.
Idris is gone. Put
Right.
him in a box.
That works. Ship him
that
off.
man, he ain't never getting on the island. Like, I don't need none of his movies. Like, what, I was trying to think. Like, now this is me now.
It's gonna be bad.
What the hell does Idris do for? What did he do for the culture? Just tell me that.
I mean,
like, I don't want to see none of his like modeling crap. And the only reason I know he was a model is because my ex had a picture of him in his modeling thing in one of his modeling gigs, and she had it like in the drawer. So I would like open up the sock drawer, and boom, there'd be half naked Idris, in some old tidy whities or some bullshit like underneath all the socks.
That sounds like spank bank material. It's kind of weird, to be honest.
I feel like I should have burned the whole drawer down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I should have burned the whole drawer and the socks. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then they got mad at me because I tried to throw it away. I was like, man, I don't want to see this. Like, I'm trying to get socks in the morning. Like, get this out of my.
I don't
want
to see this.
Right. I put this in somewhere you like. Put this in your Bible, your trap keeper.
With that said, everybody out there, who would you choose? Who would you eliminate between Will Smith, Denzel Washington?
All of them.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going.
Okay. My bad.
Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Idris Elba, and Samuel Jackson. Who would you eliminate out of those 4? We hope to hear your answers.
They don't exist anymore.
Yeah, everything.
Wait, so does that mean Will Smith kids wouldn't exist either? Because if we add his kids in, then I really want to eliminate Will Smith.
Now, here's the thing: you got to be careful with that because
I should. No, I don't.
There's a pop that is a thing that is.
Oh.
If you take a chance, I'll send you a song from Willow. That's incredible.
Oh, I've heard that song.
Oh,
the cover.
The smooth song, the like old 90s song.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Yeah.
That one's nice.
That's very good.
But
And then
when's the last time I listened to a song of Willow?
Willow's music kind of weird, but he does have that really nice bottled water.
Yeah, he did that, and that's why I was like, I want to save him just because of the bottled water.
He's doing good stuff as far as that, but yeah, he does some other kind of different stuff, which I don't want to knock him for doing different stuff.
The sins of the father should
not rest on the son, right?
So let me take that back. I don't want anything to happen to the kids,
right? Between those four, who would you eliminate?
Does Samuel have kids?
I don't know. Yes. Wait.
He does? Do they do anything in life?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I got to take that back.
I know Denzel's kids played football.
Yeah, I don't know about Samuel.
Because we got to see him in at one
It doesn't eliminate their kids, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, so we keep the kids.
It's just career stuff. It's not the kids.
All right, just them.
All right. Okay. So with that said, drop us a line at oafdiscussions@gmail.com. Let us know who between those four that you pick to eliminate, and all of their work will be eliminated from history. Also, drop us a line at facebook.com/group/Oafdiscussions. Join that. Get in there with those people. Have some discussions. We always post articles and stuff like that. Also, follow us on Twitter at Oafdiscussions. Oafdiscussions.com is the website where you can get the podcast each and every week. Also, at K and Kid Swift is where I am at. Web is at Web_A59. Brent is at LLCoolB22. No, you're fine.
I apologize.
And Shayna is at ShaynaMB. Follow all of us on there. Let us know where you came from when you follow. Shout out to Jake. Also, we will be starting. We're actually going to record a new, I guess, short episode show right after this. It will be called The Backlog. We'll be focusing on individual news topics from the gaming industry each and every week, so look forward to that. It'll be a shorter episode structure. Also, Brent, what do you got? One more thing?
I'm working on a title, but it's going to be a drop. I'm going to drop something as well, another little segment. And I'll talk about that more in when you hear about the segment. I'll explain that and everything. But
awesome.
I got something I'm gonna drop as well.
Cool.
But to everybody out there, thank you for
guys.
tuning in with us. Check us on iTunes, all the other podcast spots that you want to, Stitcher, things like that. If we're not on a podcast spot that you would like to listen to us at,
please let us know.
Let us know. If nothing else, shoot me a message on Twitter or something like that. And I'll make sure we get that taken care of.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for checking out with us each and every week. We will see you guys next time. Peace.
Adios.